thought it was Ricky that put the San Francisco team at 3, but I think they'll be tied with the Cowboys if they win this one.
I think he did this list earlier in the week, maybe last week, and he had him outside. And then all of a sudden, he must be just caught up in all the love we've been giving him. We're just going to put him in there. I think they do have to win this game in order to enter that category. I mean, you think about Hall of Famers all over the place with Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, Michael Irvin on the outside, Jimmy Johnson, one of the better coaches we've seen. I'm okay with the 49ers up there because I think what makes it more impressive is that they did win with 2 quarterbacks in Montana and Steve Young.
Different coaches, too.
And different coaches.
But that's why I say it's 2 different coaches.
But I think that makes it more impressive. The fact they were able to sustain that with turnover at those spots.
I get you.
So right now the Chiefs 4, according to Pete Prisco. We were talking to him about that earlier in the week, and Bryant McFadden was here, and he says he doesn't even consider the Chiefs a dynasty yet. He thinks you need 3 Super Bowls over a short period of span to become a dynasty. So if they lose tonight, is there an argument to be made that they're not in the middle of a dynasty?
No, this is a dynasty. 6 straight AFC Championship games. Are you kidding me? They've been to, 3 Super Bowls out of the last 4 years. That's a dynasty. Even if they were to lose this game, you get 2 rings and 6 straight trips to the championship game. How could you not be considered a dynasty?
I'm okay with it. I'm okay with B-Mac's take. I wouldn't crush them for it if they do lose. Yeah. I think part of dynasty, being a dynasty is winning championships. So if they do end up, losing, I mean, we're looking at the Bills on this graphic right here. They made it to a lot of Super Bowls.
Yeah,
they didn't win any of them, so that does give the Chiefs a leg up. But you don't get brownie points just for getting to the game. I think they do have to win this one to keep continuing to call this a dynasty. Thing is, if they won it next year, then they're right back in the conversation. Yeah. So, but I think it opens it up, makes them a little bit more vulnerable to exit that conversation.
By the way, we only showed the top 5 dynasties all time for Pete Prisco. He actually has the Buffalo Bills at number 6 all time. Sure, they went 4 straight, but they never won it.
But see, that's the question I have, right? So, they haven't won a ring, but they went to 4 straight. And if you look at the Chiefs, even if they were to lose this game, to go to 6 straight is ridiculous. And then to win 2 championships, to me, that's a dynasty. I know the magic number always is 3, and people talk about 3-peats and having 3 rings in regards to a dynasty when a team is collectively together. But the dominance that Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes have had, this is a dynasty for sure.
It's just remarkable when you think about it just looks easy, right? And it's not. It's one of the hardest things in sports to even get this far. So I understand the argument for getting there, but I do think as we define dynasties, you have to be holding the trophy at the end of the season.
If you had to project forward, like Pete Prisco did earlier this week, when he says he believes Patrick Mahomes is going to end up with 8 rings and surpass Tom Brady, if you just had to guess, how many titles do you think the Chiefs during this quote-unquote dynasty will end up with?
To me, it comes down to when Andy Reid decides to hang it up. Now, again, will they still have a chance at a championship with Patrick Mahomes? Of course, right? Travis Kelce's going to get older, probably eventually retire. But it seems like the way that Andy Reid has been able to revamp the team, because so many people had questions when Tyreek Hill left, like, what is this team going to look like? All they did was have the number 1 offense and win a Super Bowl the very next year. So the way Andy Reid, and I know I had this conversation with Pete, he was like, well, they have Mahomes, they'll still win. Not necessarily, man. When you have the coach putting it all together, the way he's able to get everybody to gel, and the way they've been able to evolutionise this team and change so many different times. I think Andy Reid, depends on how long he stays. I'm not saying Mahomes can't win one without him, but I don't know if he gets to 7 or 8 if, say, Andy Reid leaves after this year or the year after that.
I'm going to say 4 or 5. Yeah. I don't think he catches Tom Brady. I think it's so hard. I mean, also you have to consider how long Tom Brady played.
Yeah,
he played till he was 45 years old and got a couple after the age of 40. I mean, that's insane.
That is insane.
He also dealt with an ACL when he missed an entire season. We haven't seen Patrick Mahomes, thankfully, have to deal with any significant injuries. That's almost inevitable when you think about the sport itself. I also think Travis Kelce's getting up there. Like, he's been such that chemistry. We were talking earlier about it. He's 34. What happens when he decides to hang it up? Are you going to keep going after that? And just, do you have the desire to play until you're 45? Sure, maybe he gets him before he's 38, but that would be remarkable.
Man,
it's not there.
Pure dominance.
I think the conversation is going to go very similar to the Michael Jordan, LeBron James. I think there's going to be a younger generation that's Patrick Mahomes. When you watch him, he's better. I don't think he has the titles, but I think he'll have the resume to stack up in a lot of individual categories that'll surpass Tom Brady, but not in the Super Bowls.
We are exactly an hour away from kickoff of Patrick Mahomes' 4th Super Bowl appearance in a 5-year span, going for his 3rd ring at the age of 28. You can watch that over on CBS, but over on Pluto TV, they've got exclusive Super Bowl classics Classics streaming on demand until February 21st. You can relive 54 of the best Super Bowls and catch award-winning programs from NFL Films only on Pluto TV. Up next, we continue our pregame coverage here on CBS Sports HQ. Some film breakdown from Lige Douzable. How Brock Purdy uses those legs and how to stop or at least contain Travis Kelce.
On Paramount Mountain, the stakes get higher.
I can't get that thing up there. If it were football, I'd be able to reach the top.
What about a football-shaped head? We throw the child.
Gutsy call, sir.
Smart thinking.
We're not throwing a child.
Paramore, shut your face.
Shut me.
It's the only way.
I'm not going to throw a kid.
Fine. I'll throw him.
Dang, he's cool.
And Creed's here.
Hike! I just threw him higher.
He just threw me higher. I'm good.
Now, if there were only someone made of pigskin.
Bingo.
Oh, dear.
You're going to survive. Your name is Jessica, right?
Jesse.
Jesse, I'm Coulter, by the way. Hi. Let's get you home. Come on. I don't know how to repay you. Just the reward money's fine. I believe it was 50 grand. I'm a professional. This is how I make my living.
You collect rewards, right?
Sounds cool. It is cool, actually. Very cool. All right, team. Time is of the essence. I need addresses.
Just gotta know where to look. That's the trick.
Mr. Shaw, you've got quite a collection of scars.
That's Coulter, and I plead the fifth.
You know what the problem with you is, Coulter Shaw? You're so damn interesting.
Thank you.
I'm coming up like a winner.
You strong swimmer?
So.
So-so's okay.
Tracker, Sundays on CBS and streaming on Paramount Plus.
People of Reach, I bring you blessings. Know that I am the instrument of your extinction. Know that I am death.
We have something the enemy does not. We have heroes.
There's something you are, something you can't see, but you feel it.
It is Super Bowl Sunday, and we have the answer to one of the most searched for questions of the day.
That question is, how do I stream the Super Bowl? It's easy. First step, just download the Paramount Plus app, which looks like this. Once you're logged in, look for the Chiefs-Niners match tile. Don't worry, it'll be front and center and look like this. Have a cable subscription? You can watch the Super Bowl that way as well by downloading the CBS Sports app and then clicking on the Super Bowl tile that looks like this. Enjoy the Super Bowl and stick around post-game for live extended coverage of the game on CBS Sports HQ. I remember we started the countdown at 100 days, and we are just about there, under an hour now from Super Bowl 58. The 49ers going for their first title since Steve Young in the 1994 season. Chiefs going for back-to-back titles. First team to do that since Tom Brady's 03-04 Patriots. There's Brock Purdy getting ready for his big moment. Mr. Irrelevant taking the 49ers to the Super Bowl with back-to-back game-winning drives. Joe Montana, Steve Young, neither one of those guys did that multiple times in one postseason. Leger and Danny, you're back here. Leger's got some film breakdown. We saw last game what Brock Purdy did with those feet.
Yeah, Haas and DK, it's an underappreciated aspect of his game, and I've been saying it all year long. Right outside the red zone, Brock Purdy does a masterful job using his legs. DK and Haas, not just run the ball and pick up first downs, but to buy time and throw the ball down the field. I know there's been a big fuss about him being a game manager, but we're going to break down some film and show you that he's so much more than a game manager on this film breakdown. Brock Purdy does a really good job, like I said, buying time right here. A staple in this offense, DK. You know, look at Deebo Samuel in the slot. They want to run this bootleg to the left, but the Detroit Lions are playing a cover 2 defense, which means that corner's in the flat, DK, so he can't go to Deebo right away. He looks him off, then he sees Kyle Juszczyk, but he gets some pressure, right? Watch the mobility of Brock Purdy. Sets, gets those feet again, resets, DK, finds Kyle Juszczyk down the field for 20-plus yards. This will be big for him in this game because with those pass catchers, you have to plaster. Watch the mobility of Brock Purdy. Right here, Brandon you get that pre-snap motion, cover 4 defense, 4 deep, 3 underneath. We know he kills teams in the middle of the field, DK. He wants Deebo Samuel on the slant. Doesn't like the look. That A-gap opens up. Watch the mobility he has and watch him take off. Now, if Deebo Samuel turns around and blocks, he may go into the end zone for a touchdown, but look at the grit and determination from to pick up a couple extra yards after contact. We're going to show you from the end zone copy just so you can see the eyes of Brock Purdy. He wants Deebo Samuel on this slant route, but it's covered. Doesn't like that. The pocket kind of collapses a little bit, but there's an A-gap open right here. Now watch the mobility and watch him scamper and get out of there. 20-plus yards and around the red zone, right outside the red zone, DK, that's when he's dangerous with his mobility. So Steve Spagnuolo is cognizant of this. He actually talked about this in his press conference, and the Kansas City Chiefs do play man, but you saw it right there. Even if you're in zone coverage and you're plastering your receiver, you better have your eyes back on Brock Purdy because he will take off and make explosive runs.
That's the evolution of the quarterback position. It's a requirement to be able to run the football now. You have to account for the quarterback, and if you forget about Brock Purdy and just treat him like he's a pocket passer, he will absolutely burn you. You have to be aware of where he is in the pocket. Those were exceptional breakdowns, and I think that is where he can do a lot of damage in this game potentially tonight. It's also like if you try to go man coverage, as a quarterback, once you see all those backs turn, those helmets turn around, they're running, he can absolutely hurt you in coverage, and that's the evolution of his game too. And that's where it does take you from game manager to all of a sudden playmaker, and that's where I think he's really started to cement himself and should be silencing any critic who says, oh, he's somebody who can't make plays when the play is broken down. He can absolutely do that.
To your point, in the NFC Championship game, when the Detroit Lions went man and they went one rat which means they have a free linebacker dropping over the middle, he understood right away it was man coverage on 3rd and 5 and took off for 20-plus yards. That led to a touchdown. They went up 10, and that's how they won the game. So you talked about it. His mobility will be a big aspect in this game.
48 rushing yards in that historic comeback against the Lions, and as Leger just pointed out, is not just the running for first downs that he does with his legs. He creates plays like Patrick Mahomes does and keeps that clock going for receivers and tight ends to get open. Speaking of tight ends, on the other side, Travis Kelce. How do you can't stop him, right?
You can only hope to
contain him. Try to contain him because coaches have been trying for years and years and years, and it rarely happens.
Me and DK were talking about this earlier. We were baffled by the game plan of not only the Baltimore Ravens, but the Miami Dolphins, the Buffalo Bills, to just allow Travis Kelce, the potentially greatest tight end that we've ever seen, free access. Like, you have to put hands on him now. The Baltimore Ravens made good adjustments in the second half. I'm going to break some film down to show you how you can kind of slow down Travis Kelce, right? Patrick Mahomes has struggled when teams have gone a little bit more man coverage. This is one rat coverage. You'll see Patrick Queen. He's the rat defender in the middle of the field. Watch what he does with Travis Kelce on this play. Travis Kelce wants to run his over route. Get you some. Now we got brackets coverage, right? You got a guy over the top and underneath. Brandon Stevens, the corner, has him in man coverage. Look at Patrick Mahomes. That's where he wants to go. He's comfortable with Travis Kelce in the middle of the field, but because they threw that timing off with Patrick Queen hitting him, good rush by Jadeveon Clowney. He has to throw the ball away, errant throw. You have to put hands on Travis Kelce every snap. Right here, the Ravens do a good job of disguising. Look at Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He goes to Creed Humphrey. They're trying to set the protection. DK, watch what they do with Broderick Washington, the defensive tackle. Patrick Queen's in the left A-gap. right before the snap, we're going to shift them over, right, to mess up their protection. Kyle Van Noy, he's going to take a cowboy step, which means he's going to fake rush and then drop over Travis Kelce. Now, Patrick Mahomes knows the pressure is coming, but he thought he had Travis Kelce. We're going to show you from the wide angle why this was a good job by the Ravens. Again, the Chiefs talk about the protection, right? They set the protection. Patrick Queen waits. After they set the protection, they move Broderick Washington over. He is unblocked because of a missed protection. Nice job by Kyle Van Noy selling the rush. Now you have a bracket coverage, guy with inside leverage and outside leverage. Errant throw by Patrick Mahomes. Again, if you don't put hands on him, you got to get two guys on him. You got to confuse the offensive line, but you should always put hands on Travis Kelce. Do not allow him free access into your secondary.
Great disguise there, and I think that's something you're going to see a lot of tonight too. That little subtle zone pressure, zone blitz, when you look like, because you're as a quarterback, you want to see that linebacker's coming. He has to sell it pretty hard. All he has to do is for 2 steps, and then all of a sudden you're thinking, I'm hot. I got to get this ball out of my hands. But then he starts dropping in coverage, and he's right underneath the player that you were probably trying to go to, because the tight end so many times is your quick outlet. You've got to try to do that, and I love the contact at the line of scrimmage. Even if it's coming from a linebacker coming up, it's got to come from somebody. Even put a wide 9, something out by him to make his release uncomfortable.
For sure.
You're not going to slow him. You're not going to stop him, but if you can slow him down, throw off that rhythm and timing, and at least get them to that kind of where they are playing playground, and then hopefully you can have like a little game. You're trying to race to get pressure on Mahomes where he can't improvise the way he does so well.
You guys are going to be a part of our post-game coverage here on CBS Sports HQ. Lige will always be also be here for halftime. You can also get instant reaction post-game from the Pick 6 podcast. They will be up right after the game with the latest episode. Up next, we ranked top dynasties all time, best tight ends all time. Got to do quarterbacks. Where does Patrick Mahomes already rank? That's next as we count down to the Super Bowl.
This is a story that makes everyone cry. Laugh, cry, and ugly cry, and definitely totally not cry. But it's okay. You can always blame it on the altitude.
Hill's Science Diet puppy food has the nutrients your pup needs. And now at PetSmart, get 4,000 treats points when you spend $50 or more on Hill's Science Diet. PetSmart, anything for pets.
During football's biggest event, DoorDash will DoorDash stuff from all the ads, all to one winner. Just look for the promo code on the big day for a chance to win it all. DoorDashAllTheAds.com.
My mom's always hiding the remote. Now this is how you game day. Check this out. There's Totino's in there, huh? That's not supposed to do that, but it does. All right, next. Huh? Watch out, that's the hot seat. Oh yeah, but what? Do game day my way with Totino's pizza rolls.
Can you believe someone left this on the curb?
Is she?
Playing with the confidence of a pro and getting all up in that grass as if she doesn't have allergies. Yeah.
Nice.
With FanDuel, every night is a watch party. New customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets if you win. Bet all the stars with all your friends and tell them that they can get paid instantly. Only on FanDuel. New customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets if you win. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook.
They said it couldn't be done. They said the world would never accept a cookie this long. Or pretzel, and probably not a churro. They also said, under no circumstances should those really long and delicious treats be wildly affordable. Then we said, but we already made them, and they are. Introducing the incredible new foot-long sidekicks. Get one at Subway today.
It's the champion. Vegas.
You can doubt the Chiefs. You can dislike the Chiefs. You can disrespect the Chiefs. You're going to have to deal with the Chiefs.
Inevitable or improbable, this town loves a winner. But a meeting in the middle of the desert ain't for the faint of heart.
Vegas. Nevada.
Many entertainers before have come to this place to put on a show. None as great as this. Super Bowl 58, a one-night-only affair with both legacy and dynasty for the taking. These architects of excellence, proof that Lady Luck has little to do with it. What's fueled you on this journey? The joy you once felt, or that very feeling that still eludes you? Remnants of the past lingering in the present, and the rare chance to right a wrong.
I will be back here. I will be back with vengeance.
We got it. We got it, baby. We got it, baby.
Winning never gets old.
The Chiefs are champions of Super Bowl 57.
And the thirst for it only quenched in one way.
How about those Chiefs?
This an opportunity to define your forever.
Sir, let's go!
Because history is written by the victors, and they'll paint this town in only one shade of red. So leave nothing to chance, and give the kingdom of faithful exactly what they came for.
How bad do you want it? It's a fatality when you step on that field. Everything you got, every single play, and we find a way to get away.
Welcome to the show. It's Super Bowl 58 on CBS.
Thank you, Joe Musso. 30 minutes away from kick. Joe Montana hoping to see his Niners win their first Super Bowl in almost 3 decades. And he is among the top quarterbacks all time, I think, on anyone's top 5, probably anyone's top 3 list. And he's at number 2, according to our Danny Cannell. He goes Tom Brady 1, Joe Montana 2, Patrick Mahomes right behind him at 3, Dan Marino, who didn't win a ring, at number 4, and then Peyton Manning with a couple of Super Bowl titles at 5. HQ presented by Ring, Danny Cannell, and Lige Duzable. DK, how close will Mahomes get to surpassing Joe Montana on your list if he wins his 3rd ring tonight at the age of 28?
1 Super Bowl closer to 4, where he's got to go.
Exactly.
I think he'll probably catch him, right? We were guessing how many more. I think we probably all think he'll get Joe Montana or at least tie him. And I think this is one of those ones where you have to honor the resume. Before Tom Brady broke it, he was chasing Joe Montana, and that was the one. I think we kind of forgot that because we all want to have this debate about is Patrick Mahomes going to catch Tom Brady? We forget that we're just leapfrogging Joe Montana, who was one of the coolest cats out there to ever play the position. One of the best game managers we've ever seen, which I do think there's some similarities to Brock Purdy.
Did you call Montana a game manager?
I absolutely did. And the best compliment you could ever pay him because he was one of those innovators, played in that system and was really distributing the football same way that Brock Purdy does. But you talk about one of the coolest guys, ice in his veins in the biggest moments.
Yep.
He was absolutely there.
I liken it to when kids try to jump LeBron over Kobe when they're talking about Jordan. It just baffles me when Kobe has 5 rings. We talk about Mahomes and where he could go. I'm with you, DK. I loved your list. Do you have some questions about the 4 and 5 spot? We can maybe talk about. Dan, football-wise, definitely deserves to be up there. Yeah. But if Mahomes wins this one, I think he still has to get at least 4 to even be talked about with Joe Montana, just because of the dominance. And then we always talk about this with Jordan and LeBron, right? Jordan never lost in the finals.
Yeah.
Montana never lost in the finals. Mahomes has lost in the finals. So I think you have to put that into perspective as well. So Mahomes wins this one. I think he still needs to win one more to even be talked about in the realm of Joe Montana.
Mahomes 2-1 in Super Bowls so far. If he loses tonight, that's 2-2 and a check against him, I guess. Look at the most Super Bowl wins. Brady at 7. There's Montana and Bradshaw at 4, and Troy Aikman with 3. Mahomes can join Aikman with his 3rd tonight. Lige, you said you had maybe a bit of an issue with 4 and 5.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3 is good, but 4 and 5. Who would you put in your top 5 at 4 and 5?
I think the ring matters, man. And now, is it all on the quarterback? No, but I think Peyton Manning winning 2, and a lot of people say he was more of a game manager in that second one because of the defense and the trips to the Super Bowl that he's actually had. I was surprised you don't have Don Elway on that list, though.
If Dan Marino had Terrell Davis, he'd have 2 Super Bowls too. If he would have been gifted him the back end of his career, he would have had some too. And I love John Elway. I mean, I grew up watching him play as well. All these quarterbacks are phenomenal. I just look, and it's similar to the way Patrick Mahomes, like if people want to say he challenges Tom Brady and skips over Joe Montana, like watch him play. And you're like, oh, I get it. If you watch Marino play, you say, ridiculous. Oh, I get it. I think he was the best pure passer of the football that we've ever seen. And unfortunately did not have a great defense, not have a great run game, and just how many times he put the team on his back and was doing things like he was throwing 48 touchdowns in the 80s.
Yeah,
like just lapping the field. And a lot of these guys put up a lot of stats, but he was doing it at a time where it really wasn't. You weren't seeing these pass happy offenses, and guys were getting jammed, and he was getting killed. Within the pocket because he couldn't run that much. I just think when you watch Dan Marino play, you're like, oh, okay, I get it.
Well, I've had this conversation with Pete Prisco because he kind of likens Dan Marino to Josh Allen. Do you think there comes a time and point where if Josh keeps putting up the accolades and numbers and yards that he puts up, that he's in this discussion even if he never wins a ring?
It could be. I still think Marino is a different style of quarterback, the play that was there, but there could be some similarities because Josh Allen, 3rd year in the lead, has all this success, starts chasing those MVPs, and then all of a sudden feels like it's underwhelming every year. I think a lot of Dolphins fans, myself included, when you saw him go to the Super Bowl in '84, you're like, oh, this is going to be every year. And then you don't ever even get back to one. So, I think there could be some similarities to the career pass if Josh Allen doesn't get it done.
Yeah, Marino still the youngest quarterback to start a Super Bowl. It is time for Answering the Bell, presented by Ring, and Brock Purdy continues to do just that. Last couple of weeks, game-winning drives to bring the San Francisco 49ers back. That's something that Joe Montana never did. That's something Steve Young never did. 2 game-winning drives in the postseason. Maybe has to do that again tonight to get that ring. What would a win do for the narrative around Mr. Irrelevant Brock Purdy?
I think it would change the narrative, and to me it shouldn't, right? Because what he's accomplished being Mr. Irrelevant, I believe has in DK being Mr. Irrelevant and winning a Super Bowl. I think you have 1 in 24 million chances to do that. Like, that was the math on that. And
our research team put that together.
Exactly. The people are talking about him being a game manager. I just broke down the film that showed you he's so much more than a game manager, but this will be big for Brock Purdy, but I think it's bigger for Kyle Shanahan because we talked about this earlier, DK. He's kind of a disruptor when it comes to the NFL because if we look at Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, superstars, and I think Brock Purdy could eventually be a superstar. He's not there yet, right? Shanahan's always won because of his system, and that's what everybody has said. Well, if he wins this, maybe it changes the mindset of a lot of teams. Maybe we don't need a prototypical superstar quarterback. Yes, we would like to have one, but if we put the right pieces around the guy that we feel like can be efficient with the football, know where to go with the football, be mobile enough, we can win games. So, yes, this is big for Purdy, but I think it's bigger for Kyle Shanahan.
For Brock Purdy, I think it elevates him to a stratosphere where all of a sudden Paramount Plus could make a movie about his life. Like, there have been some great stories, right? Kurt Warner's bagging groceries, playing arena football, comes out. Tom Brady's 6th-round pick. You know, we've had so many stories that have these happy ending Hollywood-style finishes. If he wins the Super Bowl, that's what it becomes. It doesn't even matter what else he does. That'll be a fun conversation. And he'll clearly hope that it doesn't end with just one Super Bowl. But it is one of the best stories we've seen in the history of the NFL, to go from the last player selected to all of a sudden leading your team to a Super Bowl. It's been remarkable.
Well, you can watch the Super Bowl in just a few minutes over on CBS and also streaming live on Paramount Plus. And you can watch Super Bowls past where, well, Dan Marino only got there once. Joe Montana 4-0 in Super Bowls. Over on Pluto TV, they have exclusive Super Bowl classics streaming until February 21st. Relive 54 of the best Super Bowls and catch award-winning programs from NFL Films on Pluto TV. Well, we're only, 20 minutes away or so from Patrick Mahomes once again taking the field in the Super Bowl for the fourth time in 5 years. Chiefs in the midst of a dynasty going for their third title in 5 years.
Greetings happen.
Hi, cutie.
Yeah, that's not good happen. Huge things happen. Home happens. Be there with Ring. Learn more at ring.com.
To all the dads, the funny ones, the silly ones, the strong ones, the adventurous ones. To all the dads held in captivity by Hamas for over 120 days, we vow to bring you home.
We are trying really hard to get you Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, but there is only so much we can do here. You're gonna have to meet us halfway. Well, the whole way, actually.
We love our house.
Great location, quiet
The
street.
garage is a bit of a black hole.
Yeah, everything disappeared. Oh, my summer jams mix.
At least Geico makes bundling a home and car insurance easy.
For bundling made easy, go to geico.com.
Herbie.
At Honda, we've chased down a lot of dreams, each one leading to the next. All the way to our latest. Introducing the all-new, all-electric Honda Prologue. Our latest innovation on the road to being carbon neutral by 2050. And certainly not our last.
When you're the leader in disaster cleanup and restoration, how do you make like it never even happened happen? Let it rain, Randy! Woo! Yes! By being prepared for anything! Woo! Whatever comes your way, there's a pro for that.
Serve Pro, like it never even happened.
Wanna leave works all day, so I can keep working my magic. Just Wanna Leave. 12 hours of uninterrupted pain relief. Aleve, who do you take it for? And for fast topical pain relief, try Aleve X.
I said I'd never join.
Thought living on sub would be too hard. I figured only the weatherman track storms.
I said my job wouldn't matter. Joining the Navy sounds crazy. Saying never actually is.
It is Super Bowl Sunday, and we have the answer to one of the most searched for questions of the day.
That question is, how do I stream the Super Bowl? It's easy. First step, just download the Paramount Plus app, which looks like this. Once you're logged in, look for the Chiefs-Niners match tile. Don't worry, it'll be front and center and look like this. Have a cable subscription? You can watch the Super Bowl that way as well by downloading the CBS Sports app and then clicking on the Super Bowl tile that looks like this. Enjoy the Super Bowl and stick around postgame for live extended coverage of the game on CBS Sports HQ.
Every Super Bowl has hype. And usually, the biggest event in television lives up to it all.
Away for a touchdown! How important is this football game? Well played! Unbelievable!
amazing play. What a finish to an unbelievable Super Bowl. Now on the doorstep of the big one, it's hard to imagine it leaving the audience with anything but a classic. You can take your pick of storylines, but how can we ignore the one right in front of us? On one hand, there's Brock Purdy, a 1 in 24 million story. Yep, we did the math. Is back in the city where he heard his name called last.
47th Mr. Irrelevant, Brock Purdy.
Taking the NFL by storm.
He cannot be stopped.
He is amazing.
Then there's Patrick Mahomes, a one-of-one player on the verge of leading a team to back-to-back titles for the first time since 2004. One of the only ghosts he's chasing.
We ain't done yet.
He's on his way to becoming the best quarterback who's ever played.
Legacy-defining game for Patrick Mahomes.
And with Vegas as the backdrop for the first time ever, all bets are off. This surely will be one for the record books. Welcome to Super Bowl 58 on CBS.
Just minutes away now, Brock Purdy, man, what must be going through his head? Mr. Irrelevant here a couple of years ago in Las Vegas, selected last in the draft, and now back here to try to win an improbable Super Bowl. James Brown with Jim Nantz and Tony Romo.
Well, you know what, Jim, as I welcome you and Tony here, I'm going back 200 years ago when we were auditioning, and Jim Nantz was clearly the star above all. So we'll be rocking and rolling here too now, Jim. We talked about the celebration ride. You and Tony have certainly been on this Kansas City Chiefs celebration ride.
Yeah, we've seen him a few times. I think it's 8 times this year. We've had a ball the whole season long.
Yeah.
And listen, there's nothing like getting a chance to be at the game like this. We both, Tony, this is his 3rd Super Bowl. It's a blessing, man. It's such a gift to be able to be in the arena for a day like this.
I agree that the arena is exactly what it's about. And these guys right here have done everything. I mean, this is your whole life for a lot of these guys, the biggest game they're ever going to play in. And you see it on their faces and their energy. They're ready to go today. And this is going to be a good football game, JB. Talk about what Las Vegas has been for you guys this week. I think about, again, you lending your celebrity for the cause of St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. I said everything, but talk about you. Talk about what that was like. It was one of the most special nights of my life, receiving the Pat Summerall Award. You two are on the Mount Rushmore right there, and so it was an honor to just be associated with the great Pat and St. Jude. They are an incredible gift to everyone, and they help so many kids. It's one of the most special nights me and my family have ever had. Jim Nantz has seen everything. Jim, talk about how many people were excited and maybe wondering how Las Vegas was going to handle this. What's it been like?
It's been perfect. Obviously, the Super Bowl's coming back here about as soon as they can. Get one, another one. But I just want to say thank you for that opening prayer at the Summerall dinner for the St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. What a meritorious honoree we had. Sherry Summerall was there. And as I told her I would, when Pat passed away, she gave me his 20-year sobriety coin. I love Pat. And that will reside right here. He called 16 of these games. Be right there inside by my heart. We both had the great pleasure of working with the man, and very special. Also, the other key for me this week was I got to begin my week with dinner on Monday night with You Are Looking Live, our man Brent Musburger. And I don't know if you got to see the special about Brent in the early years of the NFL today. You've honored him brilliantly for so many years, and you've hosted the Super Bowl, JB, more than anyone in the history of this game. Congratulations.
Well, the legend, JB, truly humble to say the least. Hey, clearly we have to get you guys. You know all the storylines down, Pat. There's been so much talk about the quarterbacks, but from your perspective, give me your thoughts about tonight's matchup. First, Tony.
It's an intriguing matchup on so many different levels. You've got maybe the 2 best tight ends in the National Football League, 2 of the best quarterbacks. One's really young, trying to make a name for himself, and this is that day. I tell
people, Joe Montana before 1981, he wasn't Joe Montana yet. But you go win that game today, like Montana did in 81, Purdy becomes a guy who can, not saying he's Montana, but he becomes Brock Purdy. And he's got a tall task in front of him going against the best in the game, Patrick Mahomes.
There's a million ways you can try to slice it up, but I'm going to say this. I'll go with the winner of 85 versus 87. Kittle, Kelsey, that matchup is a sweet little X factor inside of this game. They both have the ability to just be the game breaker in this one, and I think they're both going to play great. We'll see which one has the better game. I think that'll lead us to the victor.
And as we always know, John Madden used to say it the best. All of the hype-popping circumstance coming here, the game is still the thing, and we're hoping and praying for a good one.
I think it will be, and I really agree with Nance. I do think that Kittle has to have a huge game for them to win. Both these running backs, they're going to try and run the football. Kyle wants to get 25 to 30 touches for McCaffrey. If he does that, that's the one weakness in this great Chiefs defense is the guys inside, the tight end and the running back.
That was JB with the broadcast crew a few moments ago. The stadium now filled up. Kick is under 13 minutes away as we count down to the Super Bowl. We're almost there, but we still have time for some game picks and props with Ligier and DK. That's next on HQ.
Greetings happen.
Hi, cutie.
The best night of the week happens.
We are having taco night.
Dance parties happen.
Hey.
Yeah, that's not good happens.
Hey, put that down.
Big moments happen.
I got him at UC Davis.
Home happens. Be there with Ring. Learn more at ring.com.
People of Reach, I bring you blessings. Know that I am the instrument of your extinction. Know that I am death.
We have something the enemy does not. We have heroes.
There's something you are, something you can't see. But you feel it.
You're going to survive. Your name is Jessica, right?
Jesse.
Jesse, I'm Coulter, by the way. Hi. Let's get you home. Come on. I don't know how to repay you. Just some reward money's fine. I believe it was 50 grand. I'm a professional. This is how I make my living.
You collect rewards, right?
Sounds cool. It is cool, actually. Very cool. All right, team. Time is of the essence. I need addresses.
Just gotta know where to look. That's the trick.
Mr. Shaw, you've got quite a collection of scars.
That's Coulter, and I plead the fifth.
You know what the problem with you is, Coulter Shaw? You're so damn interesting.
Thank you.
I'm coming up. You strong swimmer?
So.
So-so's okay.
Tracker, Sundays on CBS and streaming on Paramount Plus.
We've turned M&M's peanut butter into diamonds for an almost champion's ring of comfort.
Does it taste like peanut butter?
No, it's an actual diamond. Any other questions? Ooh. That aren't about how they taste.
When your hotel room is your bedroom, and your living room, and your dining room, maybe you need more than a hotel room. Get an Airbnb and get more space.
Get you some updated headlines this Sunday. We'll start in the NBA. Miami Heat star Jimmy Butler is taking a leave of absence after the death of a family member, according to a statement from his agent on Sunday. It's unclear when he will return. After today's game versus the Celtics, the Heat have 2 more games this week until the All-Star break. Elsewhere, the Philadelphia Eagles have granted edge rusher Hassan Reddick permission to seek a trade. That's according to NFL Network. Reddick, who led Philly with 11 sacks this season, has 1 year left on the $45 million contract he signed back in 2022. Meanwhile, 7-time Super Bowl champion Tom Brady set to become a minority owner of the Las Vegas Raiders, according to the NFL Network. Brady's investment was altered to reflect the proper value of the Raiders. His group is expected to purchase around 10% of the franchise. And in soccer news, Real Madrid star Jude Bellingham will be sidelined for 3 weeks due to a high ankle sprain. The English international was injured Saturday in La Liga action. The club will have to be without their leading scorer when the round of 16 of the Champions League begins later this week against Red Bull Leipzig.
No, it's Vegas, so you know there's going to be even more stars out at the game. Usher at halftime, a lot of musical artists all over the place. LeBron is in the house. Taylor Swift, of course, right? With Ice Spice.
Might be the GOAT.
Taylor Swift, I know there's a prop. I think what's the over-under? 4.5 for times we see Taylor Swift during the broadcast. All right.
Over.
Lige and Danny, and I agree with you there. We're just minutes away. They're blasting the broadcast audio across the street over at the Paris Hotel in Beer Park. It's weird because this place was so crowded all week long. Man. Now it's kind of quiet because everybody's inside or at the stadium getting ready to watch the game.
Yeah, I was just talking to Tracy about this, and I was like, yo, there's so much traffic walking over here to do this pregame show, and now the roads are empty. You can put F1 out here and they can go out and race. Like, everybody is locked and loaded into this game. You can feel the energy. It's almost go time.
Yeah, it's starting to clear out. You can definitely get access anywhere you want now. It's supposed to gridlock out here on the Vegas Strip. But the energy, you can still sense it over the sports books and the bars across the street. It's phenomenal, man.
It's going to be wild once we go inside. And I think look, it's been crazy outside. Yeah. Inside is wild. I've been to Vegas several times on the Strip. This is just a new level, and it sounds like everyone involved in this thing wants to try to get this thing back as soon as possible. We heard Tony Romo and Jim Nantz saying that's probably going to happen. When this game kicks off, what's the one thing early in this game that you're most looking forward to seeing?
Yeah, I want to see how the Kansas City Chiefs come out. I talked about it earlier. I think this could be a game where it's not necessarily won by Patrick Mahomes' arm, but the physicality of the run game with Isaiah Pacheco. We've noticed the last few weeks, this 49ers defense has struggled against the run, giving up over 5.5 yards per carry. I know, Andy Reid, you have Superman and Patrick Mahomes, but let him be Superman when you need him to do. Lean into the run game and that offensive line with Isaiah Pacheco.
I have my eyes on one player.
Who's it?
Brock Purdy.
Ooh.
We have to remember he's still just a second-year player. He was the 7th-round draft pick. This is such a big stage. We were talking earlier, the last time he was in a big game atmosphere, he was playing against the Ravens in December, late December, 3 interceptions and first 4 drives. It's a big moment, right? I'm sure he can't even hardly talk because his mouth is dried up. I mean, he's not been in this position before. I think he can live up to it, but he's got to go do it. I think a strong start is crucial for him, or at least a start where he's not making those big mistakes like he did against the Ravens.
Dan, I know you didn't play in the Super Bowl, but you played in a ton of huge games throughout your college career at Florida State and then NFL career. When you are really nervous as a quarterback, what is something that you have to keep in mind when you go out there to play?
Just play within yourself. Yep. Just preparation to me was something I dealt with the nerves. If I was nervous, I'd just go start studying more playbook or start memorizing plays. But I think the most important thing too is you just got to get to the kickoff, right? And just get in the rhythm of the game. I always kind of liked getting hit early in the game. That was when I felt like it woke up. Okay, we're just playing football, and you go out there. So that to me is the crucial part for Brock Purdy. He seems like he's done a great job of compartmentalizing everything. I know he relies on his faith. He said he prays throughout the game. Yep. A lot of players have different things they like to rely on. Clearly, that's one for him. But On the surface, he may look calm, but that heart is going to be beating a million miles a minute, and there's going to be, all kinds of butterflies in his stomach. I just want to see how he handles it.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you have to be yourself, right? Don't try to live outside yourself. And yes, we know this isn't a traditional ordinary game. It's the Super Bowl. But when it gets kicked off, it's a regular football game, right? So you're always nervous. Once you get that, usually when you get that first hit, DK, that's when you come to and you're like, all right, I'm good. I'm comfortable. I got that first hit out the way. Let me lock into who I am. Let me go do what I do, right? Not try to do too much. We always hear coaches say, do your 1/11. That's all Brock Purdy has to go do.
All right, this is it. Our final picks before the game with about 3 minutes to go until kickoff. Let's start with your top player prop, Lee.
I'm going to go over 3.5 receptions for George Kittle. And then the crazy thing is, he has not hit this number in 10 of 11 playoff games. But the thing about it, this Kansas City Chiefs defense, if you look at how they've given up receptions to the tight end position, Dalton Kincaid had 5, right? 3 out of the last 4 games. No one single player besides Kincaid has had over 3.5 receptions, but the tight end group combined. We know George Kittle is the main tight end. They're not going to throw the ball to Charlie Warner in the passing game. I like George Kittle to go over 3.5 receiving receptions because they're going to try to run the ball, heavy play action pass, maybe get George Kittle on them crossing routes against some tight ends. I like for them to go to him early and often this game. So I like over 3.5 receptions for George Kittle.
I hate going over on props because that's what everybody wants to see, and usually it doesn't. But I'm going to go Christian McCaffrey over his receiving and rushing yardage total, 128.5. I think it's a huge game for him. We're going to talk a little bit later about who we like for MVP. But I think both, it's also if you do shut down the run, which is hard enough, I think Kyle Shanahan more than well aware you can get him in the screen game, you can get him in the play action pass coming out as an outlet for Brock Purdy. I think Christian McCaffrey is going to have a monster night.
All right, time for picks against the spread, and it appears as though it's going to kick off right where it opened at 2.5. There was some movement down to 1.5. Never really got higher than 2.5, and with a couple minutes to go, it's at 2.5. What's your pick?
Does that make you a little nervous now, DK, that it went up a little bit? Bang, bang, Niner gang. Give me -2.5 with the San Francisco 49ers. If you look at what they've done the last 5 games away from home, 5-0 against the spread and straight up. We talked about it earlier, Has. I feel like this is a team of destiny, right? So many question marks about this team being front runners. Could they play from behind? Well, they showed you they can handle adversity versus the Green Bay Packers in a divisional round. They showed you they could be down by double digits versus the Detroit Lions and come back and win. I feel like this is a team of destiny. Yes, it's hard to go against Patrick Mahomes, but I like the 49ers to win. Again, one more caveat. We talked about this earlier this week, DK. In CBS Super Bowls, the 49ers are 2-1. The Kansas City Chiefs are 1-2. Patrick Mahomes' last loss in the Super Bowl was a CBS game.
You know how all these beautiful buildings were built, right?
Yep.
Because the public money is usually wrong. Everyone is backing the Chiefs. I've liked the 49ers, since the line came out. Was always like, man, I could flip-flop, but I have almost more confirmation that the 49ers are going to win because over 60% of the bets are on the Chiefs. I do like the 49ers. I think they're the better team. I think they've got more weapons on offense, and I think their defense finally steps up and slows down Patrick Mahomes enough to win the game.
25th anniversary of Kyle Shanahan's dad going back-to-back with the Denver Broncos. That first of 2 Super Bowl wins was the last time we saw a running back win Super Bowl MVP. Terrell Davis in the 1997 season. That's the last running back to do it. Who are your MVP picks tonight?
I think the streak ends, Has. I picked the 49ers to win. I think this will be a Christian McCaffrey game. We know Kyle Shanahan has been under scrutiny for the 28-3 lapse when he was offensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons versus the Patriots. We know 4 years ago versus this Chiefs team, being up double digits, people wonder, why did he not run the ball more late in that fourth quarter in the second half? I think he comes out and tries to establish the run. And DK, you said it perfectly. And even when Christian McCaffrey isn't getting the ball the traditional way, they will split him out and put Deebo Samuel in the background, angle routes versus linebackers. I believe Christian McCaffrey gets upwards to 25, 35 touches between the run and the catch. Christian McCaffrey will be MVP.
I got 8 seconds. I'm going 49ers. I'm going Christian McCaffrey, too. I think he has a monster game.
A little distracted. There's a guy with like a falcon over there. The falcon came over here, landed on the roof.
For the national anthem, he was going around.
Well, no. So the falcon, I learned this. The falcon, because we have the drone, they try to keep him away, keep the birds away. That's what the falcon does.
Oh, okay, nice. All right. Falcon's not playing in this Super Bowl. Kyle Shanahan trying to exercise some of those Falcons' demons from that 25-point blown lead when he was offensive coordinator. We have halftime from here. Ligier, and Todd Furman picks, and then highlights and reaction after the game. Joe Musso will anchor our coverage. Best of luck. Enjoy Super Bowl 58. We have certainly enjoyed our week here. We hope you enjoyed the coverage as well from the fountains at the Bellagio. 49ers going for their first title in almost 30 years. Chiefs looking to go back-to-back for the first time since the Patriots did it in 03 and 04. So long, everybody. We'll see you at halftime.